Hello, welcome back to the Dad AF podcast, episode Dose. That's right, second one. Said I'd be back. I'm back. I am that dad, Mike, or as many as you know me, Papa Does Preach. That's my other alias across my social media platform. Yes, so we're doing this again. I know, I probably sound tired. Sorry, I'll probably yawn throughout this because, well, frankly, I am tired. Because I have kids, come on. This is all, if you're a parent now, you're in a perpetual state of being tired. But I'm extra tired this weekend because, well, my kid turned 6 this week. And this weekend, for whatever reason, we got the craziest of ideas that it would be fun to host just a gaggle of demons, aka 5-6-year-old boys, at our house for pizza, movie, general tomfoolery. And it was just exhausting. To be honest with you, there was only 4 of them, but it felt like there was hundreds of them. The 4 of them just wore me out. But it was awesome. It was still cool. It was cool to see my kid being a little more social, having his friends around. He was super excited, so that was cool. But once they left, I just collapsed. Just done. All right, and on top of that, we have an 18-month-old who thinks that she gets to tell everybody what to do, because frankly she does, and what are we going to do about it? So that's always fun. Oh man, so much going on this week. So much going on this week that I could probably drone on for hours, but I'm not going to. Because I know it's probably hard enough to listen to me for 20 minutes. Don't worry. I get it. Trust me. I get it. So I think the first thing I'd like to talk about is give a huge shout out to all the individuals who came to DC this weekend. If you didn't know, that's where I'm located, in our nation's capital. At least for now. Who knows what's going to happen in the future. Goodness. All the people that came to DC this weekend to participate in the Women's March, marking the 1-year anniversary of the historic march on the day after inauguration, which I think was awesome. I fully support 100% the movement behind the Women's March, and feminism and all that is entailed in that, as well as all the movements out there, like the Me Too movements and the Time's Up movement, all that, because it is high time that women are, just to say treated better. That just sounds like it's such a small thing to say. That's why I think the magnitude of what is really behind all this, I don't think you can encompass in just a small, I think it's time we do better. No, it's just so much change needs to happen. There's so much, and it's just sad that we really need to change that much, and that literally half our society, maybe even more, is treated as, less than. And that's not even taking into account women of color, and that's just a whole other horrible issue. Women of color treated even less than white women, so yeah. So the movement, I think, was amazing. It was awesome to see all the people marching out there and standing up and speaking up, and I just hope it continues, and I hope it's not just something that people are going to sit and say, oh, it's just because who's president right now and all that stuff. No, I hope this is something that just keeps growing and keeps moving, because especially having a daughter of my own, I want to see things get better. I want to be part of making things better. I want to not feel so bad when I send her out into the world and be like, it's really dangerous, watch out. That kind of stuff just scares the hell out of me now. So yeah, so I think it was amazing to see, all the people marching across the U.S. See a lot of my friends, a lot of my fellow influencers and dads joining in as well as they did last year, marching to support women's rights and better treatment and all that. I think that was super awesome, which leads us nicely right into our next segment, which is our weekly dumbass call out.
You don't have bad luck. The reason that bad things happen to you is because you're a dumbass.
All right, so this week's dumbass is, well, not just one person, but a group of people. And it makes me sad that I'm happy to say this, but this week's dumbass are kids. No, more specifically, teenagers. And they are the teenagers who are taking place in this idiotic fad going across the internet, across YouTube and other streaming sites, the Tide Pod Challenge. I can't believe this is even something that we have to talk about, but teens are sticking these Tide Pods in their mouths and letting them dissolve, see who can hold on to them longer, or something, or swallowing them. I mean, these idiots are literally putting poisonous chemicals in their mouth for 15 minutes of fame. Well, I hope that 15 minutes of fame is worth it, dummy, now that you're in the hospital, or you don't wake up from the coma that it just put you in, or all the pain and suffering it causes your family when they find you dead or unconscious or something. I mean, how dumb do you have to be to think that that's a fun idea to do? Sticking chemicals in your mouth. I mean, these are literally the people that things like warnings that say, don't use iron while wearing clothing, or hair dryers are for head use only. I mean, or these things that have, like, you know, the warning signs on them for like curling irons, like not to use it on your eyelashes. I mean, this is what we're talking about, people. These stupid people, these morons. They're not morons just as adults. There were morons long before that. They were morons when they were kids, and now they're morons out there ruining it for the rest of us. That's right. These morons are going to grow up and still be morons. And, I mean, it really gives a whole new frightening meaning to the song, The Children Are Our Future. That song, I used to love that song. Now that song, it frightens the hell out of me. It's so dumb that Tide had to go out and hire another resident moron, Rob Gronkowski, NFL player Rob Gronkowski, who can barely tie his own shoelaces, to tell kids not to put Tide in their mouth. Yeah, I guess, you know, they needed someone who speaks the language right along with them. So, you know, I mentioned that these morons grow up to be morons, and you can see the best example of who these people are. You know, right here where I live, you know who these people grow up to be? They grow up to be the jerks that are right down the road in this big building in the House and the Senate. They grow up to be just like those morons. Those morons are responsible for the government shutdown. Yeah, here we are. Second time in, 4 years that this has happened? And you know what? And before anybody, leaves me a comment or gets pissed off and saying, oh, why are you even talking about politics? You know, why don't you stick to what you're good at? You know, tell some jokes. You know, I don't know how many more parents have to say this, or bloggers or whatever have to say this. Politics is parenting, people. The things that are happening right now, they affect you and me, and they're going to affect our kids down the road. So obviously the things we're experiencing and the way we're raising our kids and the way things that we're going to have to explain to them, politics is parenting, people. So if you don't like it, you know, I don't know what to tell you. You know, don't listen. I'm going to talk about this stuff. It affects all of us. I mean, I'm not going to sit here on my soapbox every day and, you know, complain or anything, but I'm not going to avoid topics either. It just pisses me off, man. You know, I mean, I was in the military. You know, I'm a veteran. Luckily, we never went through anything like this when I was in the military. Um, but it just sucks, man. I have a lot of friends here who work. You know, you can't throw a stone without, you know, hitting. Well, you shouldn't throw a stone anyway. 'Cause if you hit somebody, it's against the law. You're getting in trouble. But you know, pretty much everybody around in this area works for the government in one capacity or another, whether it's contractor or a government employee. And so many people I know are affected by this, and it sucks. And it sucks to watch these overpaid crybabies sit on TV and, you know, point fingers at each other and, you know, point fingers at the bigger crybaby above them and all that stuff about what's going on, what's not going on. I don't like this, I don't like that, I'm not agreeing to, you know. But they're getting paid. They still get paid. But families who depend on those paychecks are struggling. While these morons sit around and, you know, try to whip it out and compare it whose is bigger. It's just stupid. So stupid. It's so stressful. Anyway, but I mean, what are you going to do? Right? I mean, we put those morons there, so I guess that makes us the morons, right? Wow, I feel like this episode's a bummer. It's kind of a downer episode. And it ain't going to get much better here towards the end because I actually did want to talk about one specific thing that one of my listeners / you know, followers on my Pop Preach page on Facebook asked, you know, if I would talk about or if I had any thoughts on, and that is how to teach kids to cope with loss at an early age, and how not necessarily loss of a family member, but I mean, some people see this as loss of a family member, like loss of a pet. So one of my followers wrote me the other day and said they had to put their dog down, I believe, and they had this dog for a long time, even before her and her husband got married, and her 2 children were like in love with this dog. I mean, it was like part of their family, and her oldest son was like, it was like his best friend, you know, from like the moment he came home from the hospital, you know, as a baby, you know. And this dog, you know, I guarantee the dog probably felt the same way about that little boy. And she asked if I had any like advice on that, or teaching that kind of stuff to kids that young. And it's like, I mean, no, I don't, like I said, I don't give advice to people, but I mean, I can relate. Totally I can relate. You know, when I was a baby, my grandparents had a dog that just absolutely, like, I mean, I think it thought like I was its puppy or something. I don't know, because it wouldn't let people come near me as a kid. And I guess when I always heard stories, my mom used to throw me in the air and like catch me, and the dog would run up and like bite her in the ass, you know, because he'd get pissed until she'd put me down and he'd like kind of guard me and he wouldn't let anybody come near me. You know, he got old and we had to put him down, you know, and just, you know, as a kid at such a young age, you just don't understand those things. And like, how do you explain that? How do you explain to them that, you know, at such a young age? I think the lady who wrote me, I think she said her kid was 7. I mean, I don't tell people they're meant, but like, I'm not a pet person now. Like, I grew up, my mom had, you know, cats. She had like 4 cats. So I had cats growing up, and I had, you know, that dog when I was real young. But I don't have pets now. Like, I just won't, you know, and part of it is the selfishness. You know, I don't want to take care of it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to pick up a dog's poop. I don't want to, you know, it's bad enough I have to wipe my kid's butt, but, you know, I don't want to do stuff like that. I don't want to clean out a litter box. I don't want to walk a dog in the freezing cold and pick up their poop with my hand. Like, I don't want to do that. But to tell you the honest truth, I don't want to have to deal with that loss again. That's a big reason. I don't ever want to have to explain that to my kids, and I don't want to have to go through that. I know, it may sound crazy. It may kind of sound like, doesn't make any sense to some people, and like, hey, it's circle of life and all that stuff. But it's just a choice that I don't, that I'm choosing to make, because I just don't want to do it. I don't even know. I don't even know what to tell the lady who wrote me, but I just felt so bad. I was like, I don't think there's any special way around it. I think you kind of just have to find your own groove with it, and you have to just explain to them that, like, everything dies. Everything dies. But again, explaining that to a 7-year-old, I mean, of course, the next thing they're going to do, they're going to think about, well, what about me? Or what about mom and dad? Or what about, yeah, it's tricky. And it's sad. It sucks. So, sorry to let you down. I don't have advice. Because I know I would suck at it too. I'd be horrible explaining that to my kid, because I'd probably be falling apart myself. Especially right now. That's something I'm dealing with myself right now. Almost 40 years old. I think that stuff just keeps creeping up the back of my mind about my own mortality and all that stuff. And just, ugh, I hate that stuff. It keeps creeping up, and I keep thinking about this kind of stuff. So, yeah. So, I guess we're just gonna make this a complete bummer episode. Apologize for that. But glad you guys came back. Got a lot of awesome feedback. I'm trying to get off my ass and figure this thing out, like getting it uploaded to iTunes and Google and all that stuff. It's pending review right now, so hopefully you guys will be able to find me in other places instead of me just sharing on Facebook, because Facebook is trying to screw us all over anyway. So that's all I got today. I hope I have not bummed you out too much. I hope nobody is thinking about jumping off any buildings or anything after this episode, because I don't need that on my conscience. So anyway, have a good one, because it can't get much worse than this. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and don't forget to follow me on social media, Papa Does Preach, and the Dad AF podcast. And until next time, to all my dads out there, keep it popping. Later.